Welcome back to Open Invite. This episode is brought to you by North Texas Remodelings. More on that later. Our guest today is a prolific musician and recording artist out of Dallas, Texas, and he has a new single out called Crutch on all major music platforms. Please welcome my good buddy, Tito Strange.
How's it going, man?
It's going good, dude. Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited to be here.
And did you have a show last night?
No, I had a show on Wednesday, so that was in Rockwall, just playing some covers and whatnot for a little hotel lounge, and that was fun, and no gigs this weekend, so.
Dang, dude. The way that you kind of are as a musician is pretty interesting to me because, like, you make your own music, you're in bands, you take on gigs, you're kind of everywhere. Like, how does that kind of work for you?
Most of it, as far as the logistics side of things, or just scheduling, I try to use my calendar as much as possible, just remember when the dates are and whatnot, but I have a booking agent that books me for just these gigs that we'll just kind of call like corporate gigs, basically going to hotel lounges, little bars, singing covers, mostly, upbeat sort of songs to get the vibe kind of flowing. And, she handles the scheduling for that, which is great. And then as far as like my bands and passion projects, that's kind of all me, do the booking for that on my own. And that helps a lot as far as scheduling goes,
Do those things ever, like, clash?
Sometimes. I'll just lately what I've done the past several years is kind of prioritize anything that's going to pay me. Just because the nature of the game right now is
Got to get that money.
Got to get paid, you know what I mean? It's tough out here. So that's mainly what I try to do as far as prioritizing what over what, you know what I mean? Whatever's going to pay me the most at the moment. But if it's something I really, really want to do and it doesn't pay me, I'll usually choose that, It just depends on how I'm feeling or what is important at the time.
Dude, I watch your stories, and not only are you prolific, like, kind of creating music and playing in shows, playing other people's bands, but, like, you also are prolific at posting content.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that because that means a lot to me because I feel like I have struggled with this for so long, and as a musician, it's like all I want to do is play music, really, but the social media side of things, you really have to work on it, and it doesn't come as naturally to me as it does other people. So this past year, I've been doing a lot of research on marketing and whatnot, social media content, how to brand yourself, and so that's kind of been the inspiration for what people have seen lately on my Instagram as far as like the humor skits and little. Do
you like doing the social media stuff?
I think it took me so long to figure out how I wanted to do it that would make it fun for me. Because most of the time when people are talking about marketing, it's like, especially on TikTok or Instagram, it's like, oh, use current trending sounds and current trending ideas or dance moves.
That doesn't work for you. You're a musician.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not going to be the person on TikTok that's like doing the little dance or whatever. Like, hey,
why not,
follow
bro?
Me.
The people want to see Tito Strange out there. You want to see your moves, dude.
I know, it's a shame, but that's not me, So
it's not your brand.
So I try to figure out what I would like to do on social media that's fun for me and will actually get people's attention. And it's been lately, focusing on humor because I like to think I'm a fun guy.
You are a pretty funny guy.
I like having, laughs. So I want to portray that a little bit more in my content so that people can relate to me more as opposed to like, here's my music, here's my music, here's my music. No one's paying attention to that.
Yeah.
They'd rather get to know the person personally, whether it be through a story or through who they are and their personality showing in their reels or stories or whatever, So,
dude, I know that the new single is Crutch, but I actually have a lot of interest in the song called Home.
Okay.
Is it on the new album?
Where did you end up hearing it?
It's on your highlights.
Oh, okay.
It's a song called Home, and I think the way that I interpreted it is like kind of a song about you from the perspective of somebody else, but I'm not sure.
It's cool that you mentioned that song. I don't know if it'll be on anything soon. I wrote the song a while ago, actually, almost a decade ago now. But long story short, or I don't know how far I can go into this or how much detail you want.
You can do whatever you want, dude.
Okay, but the song Home that I wrote is basically an acoustic song. I've gotten a lot of, people pay attention to it whenever I sing it because it's a very personal song about the fact that when I had basically left college, I decided I wasn't going to go back to college, or I was going to go to local community college here in Dallas. And I was having a lot of problems with my family, right? Because my parents, especially my dad, was like, "What the heck are you doing with your life? Like, why are you quitting? Like, do something about your life." And we got into a huge argument. Me and my family were on vacation, and we were in Portland, and we got into a huge argument. My dad and I got very drunk. I had just turned 21.
So that was the brawl?
That was
you and your dad?
Yeah. So like
Bro,
we were in.
I was wondering.
Yeah. So I pretty much plainly say it in the song. Like me and my dad got into a fight, like a physical altercation. And shout out, Dad, if you're watching this, I love you.
Shout out, Dad.
You know what I mean?
Shout out, Papa Strange.
But shout out, Papa Strange. We had our differences at the time, and we were upset at each other, and we got into a physical altercation. Long story short. He immediately left to Dallas. Like we were on vacation in Portland, and we still had several days left. And he was like, "Screw this, I'm out," and got a plane
Find your
ticket.
own way home.
Yeah, flew back to Dallas. He was like, "Fuck this." Excuse me, I don't know what sort of language we can get going on this show or whatever.
Dude, do whatever.
But he was like, "Yo, let's get out of here." Pretty much, he was upset, and the whole concept of the song is basically like just a perspective on that moment in my life and how I felt like my dad pretty much called me, left a voicemail. He was like, "Yo, you got to get your life together. What are you doing?" And it was one of those moments in my life.
So you were the person that wasn't answering the phone.
Yeah, so I was the person that wasn't answering the phone. Because, at the beginning of the song, I'm like, "How come you're never home? You never call us on that telephone we bought you," sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just didn't want to be around. Because when I would go home, my parents were like, "Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? How come you're not doing this?" And it made me not want to be around, even though I love them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, man, every time I come here, y'all are nagging at me, and it makes me not want to be around. But, that's been so many years since then. I've grown a lot. I've gotten better relationship with my parents.
Do you mind if I say a little personal stuff about you?
Yeah.
Because, I know that you went to a college preparatory school.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine if they put you in that,
right,
then they probably wanted you very much so to go into the college life.
Well, I mean, I was a very good student. I was very into my studies and all that, but I think I just got maybe burnt out or something. I'm not really sure. I think about this a lot just because, it's a big part of my life, but I was prepared to go to college. I think it would have been maybe better looking back on it if I had taken a year to go to a community college and stay home because I was very sheltered growing up. So as soon as I got to college, it was my first taste of freedom. I'm living alone in Austin.
Wow,
no one's telling me what to do.
You were a little Catholic schoolgirl out there in the worl now.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. So, Catholic school all my life. I was raised Catholic.
Oh, it was actually Catholic.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So I was raised Catholic schoolgirl all my life.
Shout out Catholics.
And I'm not religious very much anymore. But those sort of mentalities shaped who I was up until that point. And then when I got to college, I was like, no rules, no parents. And I kind of went crazy with the freedom.
So you were in a dorm then?
Yeah, I was in a dorm.
Bro.
With my roommate was actually, shout out Gio. My roommate, he went to high school with me. So
cool.
I was kind of with a familiar person.
Yeah.
And
that's a recipe for disaster
right
right there.
It led to a lot of debauchery.
Yeah. What kinds of things would y'all do out there? So what college did you go to?
So I went to St. Edward's University in Austin. It's the smaller college that people don't talk about in Austin, but it's got a great campus. It's really beautiful. It overlooks the entire city of Austin, excuse me. So it's just a really nice campus, really cool. And
you don't have those pressures of being in UT or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got the...
And I had a little bit more freedom. There wasn't as many campus police.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're in the weird city with low security.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, that happened. And then I was like, well, I got to go back home because I wasn't doing very good at school. I was just kind of messing around. Mm-hmm. But, I could say that I regret those things, but honestly, so much has happened since then. All the experiences I've gained, especially with music, I'd say it's worth it. And I'm proud to have my story be unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Going back to Crutch, I also saw kind of a more mellow version of it. Is there an alt version of Crutch?
I think that if anything, you probably heard just me developing the song because what I did with Crutch, which I haven't done with any of my other solo songs, is that I wrote and recorded the song at home. And then I had an engineer, Ryan Michael, shout out Denim Diablo Sound. He's got a studio, great musician. I took the tracks to him and told him that I wanted him to mix it just to have that extra pop polish. And shout out to him. He did a great job. But anything that you've heard about Crutch or any different versions is probably like me actually recording it and slowly bringing the song together. And maybe you heard me kind of messing around.
Yeah, before you brought the people in to bring in the finishing touches.
Yeah.
You kind of got to do that, honestly.
Yeah. So I wanted to really elevate the production value of this song. But we'll see what happens in the future. I like to collaborate with a lot of different engineers and producers and musicians. So we'll see if we'll do that again.
Dude, props to you, because some of it's like indie artists and alt artists, like they've got a lot of ego when it comes to like their art. They want to keep it like super true and like they want to do everything themselves. But you're willing to outsource to really kind of bring in those finishing touches, bring in the polishing and everything like that. So that's awesome, man. I'm glad that you're able to do that and kind of look past all of the like, I don't know, the ego of it all. Which you don't strike me as that kind of person.
Well, I think collaborating has been like the biggest part of my musical career. And that comes from the fact that I started as a drummer. So for the longest time, I didn't play any other instruments except for drums. So in order to make music, or the way I was doing music at the time, was collaborating, because I needed a drum behind someone. For the longest time in my mind, my ideal version of what I was going to be doing was, I'm going to be the best drummer I can be, and I'm going to be in a very successful rock band, and I'm going to be touring with them playing drums. For the longest time, I was like, that's my version of success. That's how I'm going to make it as a musician.
You never thought you were going to be a solo artist?
Never. Like, not really. Not at all.
And now you're kind of a Swiss Army knife of a musician. You kind of plug and play.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate that.
Right? That's kind of how you are. Like, somebody will bring you on to do, like, guitar, and they're singing, or you'll come in and do somebody's vocals at their show. Like, you sing lead vocals for other people's bands sometimes.
Yeah, so shout out to my friends Wolves Rain. My friend Eric, I've known him since high school. This is one of the projects you're kind of talking about, is that he'll have me sing or play drums with them, and I've been doing that for the past 10 plus years with them, on and off. But I'm not really... I was a member at one point, but I'm not an official member anymore. They kicked you out? I actually left.
Who'd you screw over, dude?
No, dude. Well, they didn't want to hear the truth. No, I'm just kidding. I just
they found your Kanye collection.
Yeah, that's what it really was. They found all my Kanye memorabilia, and they were like, "You got to leave, bro." No, I wish that's what happened. No, we just decided to do different stuff, but like we're still very good friends. So they always ask me to play with them. So that's one of the people that I'll kind of hop in whenever they need me. I've done several different projects like that where they're like, "Oh, who are we gonna call? Oh, call Tito." I'm kind of like a reserve for people. Oh, I need a drummer, I need a guitarist, whatever. But yeah, I'm not sure if I answered your question, if there's even a question there.
I don't remember what the question was, dude. I'm just in the convo. I'm trying to figure out who you are, because I know you in a very personal level, but I want to understand more about the music and try to understand who you are as a musician.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know that you're, like, super into the Mavs, that you've been into for a long time.
Yeah.
I know.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Straight up, unfortunately, bro.
We've got a friend who is the, like, kind of an accountant for the Mavs.
Oh, cool.
And so whenever Hiroshima hit recently, he was devastated.
Yeah, dude, I can't even imagine how much money they're losing.
Can you talk to me about, like, what you felt when that happened?
I mean, when they traded Luka, I was heartbroken for like 2 weeks. Like, literally, it felt like, bro, and this is so dumb, but I felt like literally like I had broken up with someone. Like, it felt like I had lost someone that was important to me, you know what I mean? And I was like, they had a headline, like the Dallas Morning News, and it said like, "He was ours." And that headline, for whatever reason, like hit me, bro. I was like, he was ours.
He was mine.
They couldn't let us have him. You know what I mean? Yeah. It almost felt like, for me, I was like, the NBA wouldn't let us, the Dallas Mavericks, have a player like that because he's so good. It felt like that, and I'm not going to get conspiratorial with this, because I'm sure people out there are like, "Oh, this was a conspiracy to make the NBA more popular and all this stuff." Whatever the reason, we lost a very special player that we all very much cared about. Yeah. And like, we were with him from draft day, so it was like it was almost like we watched him grow up.
Yeah, he was like, homegrown.
Came here, he was 18.
He started with the Mavs at 18?
Yeah, so we drafted him.
Wow, dude.
So we traded for that pick and like
he was a kid with us.
Yeah, and so it's kind of sad because I wanted to see him do well. I think we all did. And we almost like, we were like, that's our guy. You know what I mean? And so here we are. So, and I've been a Mavs fan since I was a kid. Like, my dad would take me to the Reunion Arena. Reunion Arena, and just we would get blown out.
Dude,
we were so
Reunion
bad.
Arena.
We were so bad.
What happened to that? I remember Cirque du Soleil used to be over there all the time.
They built the double AC and they got rid of the Reunion Arena. So
do you remember where that was?
Yeah, it was really close to the double AC. So you know the Reunion Tower, the little thing that looks like a mic. It was right there.
Oh,
it was right next to it. So
dude, I remember the Reunion Arena whenever Katrina hit. Tons of people were sheltered there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Right?
Yeah, when we were in high school, we went on a little, they took a little group of us. We were like a leadership group or whatever. Long story short, they took us to go see Obama speak before he became president.
Oh, wow.
So they were like, let's go take them to go see a potential presidential candidate, you know.
When was this?
2007.
That's cool, dude.
So that was...
Early adopter.
That was the last arena. That's the last time I remember being in Reunion Arena. We went there to watch him speak.
I remember being in Reunion Arena just close front row, and the cage was pretty close to us, and a tiger or a lion, whichever it was, just kind of came up to us. That might have been the moment where I gained consciousness, when I was like, dude, this lion could eat me right now.
Was that a Reunion Arena?
I think so.
Oh, like a circus.
Yeah, it was Cirque du Soleil.
Okay. Dang, they've been around that long?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
How far back does the profession of like a carny go? You know? You take these outcasts of societies and then you put them together and then they travel around and find a way to make money.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they are.
Yeah.
Dude, I know a carny, like, for real. This guy.
What do they do?
His name is Cayman Casey.
Okay.
And so you may have heard of him. He's a actor and a voice actor. Okay. He lives in Dallas.
Okay.
But he really lived that carny life. He was out there, like, with tons of weird people. He's an acrobat is what he does. And and now he's an actor and a voice actor, and so he's kind of doing it big right now. But if you ask him about his past life, dude, he goes in on talking about what the carny life was like.
I bet.
And he has tremendous love for these people and like who they are and kind of their weird talents. Like it's super interesting.
That is
hearing
super
him talk.
interesting.
I'm gonna try to have him on sometime soon.
That'll be
so
cool.
he can describe that, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's
insane.
Really interesting. I'm sure he's got better stories than I do.
It's been a little bit of a while since we've kind of seen each other.
Yeah.
Which we used to see each other all the time.
Yeah.
But what are you kind of up to now?
Well, last weekend I had the opportunity to play a little festival. My friends in East Texas, they've got this festival they do twice a year. It's called Marshmallow Jam.
Do they own it?
They do own the land. So this is a big piece of property they have, in East Texas. And they have a body of water on the property. Super cool. You can swim in there. And then they built 2 stages out there. They have electricity running. They even have a bathroom that they built outside. So we're camping, but it's a camping festival, but it's not very rough. Like that, you know what I mean? There's amenities. And yeah, it was a great weekend, man.
I've never heard of a camping festival. What's that like?
You've never heard of one?
No. You said it like it was a common thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, like Coachella, right? Like, they'll have...
That's a camping festival?
That's a camping festival.
Oh,
but, like, whenever you're thinking of Coachella, you think of all these influencer types that are, like, renting out the cabins and, like, doing the really bougie shit. There's a version of Coachella and all these other camping festivals where it's, like, there's people in tents out there. Yeah. And they're just... hanging out camping the whole weekend.
Coachella.
So, I mean, this is a little smaller version of that. It's not Coachella, but it's like, 100 people in the woods, and they have a nice property that's contained. And
that's like kind of the size of the audience, 100 people?
Yeah, it's not very big. It's not a super big one. They keep it really low-key on purpose. They don't even post the address anywhere. You have to know someone that's going, and they'll send you the address. And it's a really cool thing they've been doing for almost a decade now. And I've been twice now. And I have a good relationship with the landowners for many years. And I had the opportunity to play there. It was really great. The last time I played, I just kind of did an acoustic thing. But this time I brought my loop pedal and my keyboard and my guitar.
You did a loop session?
I did. And I did some covers of some funky songs like Dare by Gorillaz, which is one of my favorite songs ever.
Dude.
And we just had a great response. And... I invited another keyboard player to go up there and kind of jam while I was playing guitar. It was really fun, man. Shout out to those people in Westmoreland. Westmoreland,
that's pretty close.
It's the name of their land, I guess, is what they called it.
Okay, so it's not the street over there on 35.
No, it's not. It's not the street, but they call their land Westmoreland. Gotcha. I don't know why.
And you said it's a pretty small, like You know how they say, like, oh man, my video only got 100 views or only got 200 views.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you try to think of it of like, imagine if there was 200 people in a room with you.
I know, right?
So it's like, to me, 100 people doesn't sound pretty small.
It was fun, man. And I think that when you have a quote unquote smaller audience like that, you get to have more of a connection with the people. It's more intimate. So really grateful for that experience. This was the first time ever that I've played keyboard out live for a performance, especially one of my songs. So I'm really not a keyboard player. I just started kind of messing with it for the past several years.
You say you're not a keyboard player. You say you're not a guitar player. But I see all these clips of you like out there doing that.
Yeah, I guess
Are you just that much better at drumming?
I do feel that way. I've been drumming since I was 10 years old. So this is like 23 years in the making.
I see.
And then guitar, I feel like I've been focusing on it for the past decade. But really, like I took my first real guitar lessons that stuck with me like 2020. So like I'm not like super far into my guitar journey as far as I'm thinking about it. Maybe other people see me play and they're like, this happens to me a lot. They'll be like, what do you mean you're not a guitar player? And I'm like, well, I just don't feel that way yet. I don't feel like I've earned it. You know what I mean?
I see.
But this is me having like
You're a COVID guitarist.
Yeah, this is me having like a high standard of what it is. Because like shout out to my brother, Gabe Garcia. Phenomenal guitarist. He's been playing since he was 7 years old.
Shout out Gabe Strange.
Gabe Strange, dude. When I see him play, I'm like, okay, this is a guitarist. You know what I mean?
I see.
When I play the guitar, I am almost like I'm a drummer that started to play guitar. And I'm getting like very rhythmic on the guitar. I approach it a different way than most people that have been like learning and playing guitar their whole life, and that's it. They're guitar players. I'm a drummer that play. That's how I'm thinking about it.
Well, imagine a guitarist who try to hit the drums. They're probably all off.
Yeah, and that's actually kind of this is actually a topic I wanted to talk to you about that I thought was interesting. Is that like that's the thing that I'm struggling with, and I'm sure a lot of people out there that are listening to this, if they're creative, they might struggle with this too. But it almost feels like, you know, in the middle of my career, almost I'm like let me switch everything up. Like I'm not even going to play drums very much anymore. Now I'm going to try and be a guitarist. Like there's plenty of examples of people that do this. But for me personally, like in my life doing this, I almost have sort of a negative thought about it sometimes where I'm like, man, if I would have stuck to drums and just focused on drums, I'd be such a better drummer by now.
But you wouldn't be a solo artist.
But I'm trying to focus on guitar and learn how to play guitar so that I can write my own songs. And now I feel like I'm not as good as this. And now both of my,
you feel
talents,
like you kind of became a master of none?
Yeah, almost like that sort of thing. But like at the same time, I get compliments from people like yourself or whoever. They're like, man, you can play all these different things. You're a Swiss Army knife. And that makes me feel good, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a constant struggle, and I feel like all creative people deal with that, right? You kind of have self-doubt, and then you have to
So you deal with imposter syndrome a lot?
Yeah, I feel like that happens to me plenty of times. And that's because the caliber of musicians that are in Dallas are just insane, man. Like, we have some incredible musicians out here. Really, really people are sleeping on Dallas. Because, like, we have, you know, members of Erykah Badu's band here. That Loop guy, Mark Rebellier.
Oh, yeah. He's from Dallas?
He's from Dallas. He moved to New York. Dude. You know, we have such great musicians here. And so whenever you're out and about in Deep Ellum and you're a musician in Dallas and you're jamming with people that are playing in Erykah Badu's bands, jazz bands that have played all across the world, you do feel that imposter syndrome because, like, I'm over here trying to hone my guitar skills and, like, write silly little pop songs. And I'm playing sometimes with famous jazz musicians, and it's like, man, these cats are good. And you do feel that sort of, oh, man, am I good enough? Like, you know? But the real reason I make music is because I really feel that it's something that's healing. You know what I mean? And this sounds cheesy, whatever. I don't care.
It is cheesy, and who cares?
It is cheesy, but, like, music really is a medicine, and I think that's really, really cool. And I'll tell you the memory of why I feel that, or how I felt that for the first time was I was, like, maybe 9 years old, and my aunt, a distant aunt, we weren't very close, obviously, because I was so young, but she was in a horrible wreck, and she was pretty much brain dead. So she was on
car wreck?
She was on life support, and we went to go visit her. I don't really know who this woman is, you know, but she's my dad's blah, blah, blah cousin.
Yeah.
And so we go to visit her, and she is unresponsive to basically any stimuli. But in that room, they had a little music box. You know those things you'd turn?
Yeah, like a little ballerina type thing?
And it would make a little song, right?
Yeah.
So they had one of those on the table, And I'm a little kid. I'm just messing around. I'm bored, right? I'm like, oh God, this is so boring. I want to leave.
People are dying over here.
This is awful. I don't want to be here, you know? Like, she's dying. What are we doing here? Like, and I take the little music box and I turn it and I put it back on the table and it plays a little song, ding, 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 you know? And I see her eyes flutter open.
No way, bro.
Like, I literally, her eyes open, you know, later the nurse comes in and she's like, oh, she loves that music box. That's the only thing that she responds to.
Wow.
And it wasn't in that moment, but looking back on it now when I'm older, I've always correlated it, me wanting to do music, back to that moment where I was like, oh man, like this like woke her up. I thought she was dead. I'm a kid. I don't know what's happening really or what her condition is. And seeing her respond to the music like really took me back. Like I was like, oh,
it was literally healing.
Like she's like responding to this and I've been talking to her. We've been clapping in front of her. She's not responding. But she woke up and looked over at me because of that music. And so that's the moment in my mind where I always look back where I'm like, that's the reason I want to play music. And that's so cliche maybe or corny, but that was a real moment in my life where I was like, oh, snap. Music can really help people. You know what I mean? So, and I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that feel the same way. Like when you're feeling bad, you have a specific song maybe that resonates with you or makes you feel better or
of course
even makes you feel that feeling more, you know, even if it's like a sad song or whatever.
It'll make you feel something even if you don't feel it sometimes.
Yeah. And so I think music's really cool and really powerful. And I think that it's a blessing that I have the gift of wanting to do music and can play music and can share that with people because I think it's something really important. And people that don't like music, I'm always really astounded. I'm like, what? How do you not? You know
Dude, I've met people who literally just, you ask them what's their favorite, and they're like, I don't really listen to music.
That's so weird to me.
I don't know if you can trust these people, man.
I don't know who these people are. I'm like, are you a robot? How can you not listen to music, you know? But I do realize that there's plenty of people out there that music isn't important in their life. And that's like mind-blowing to me because it's such a big part of my life.
Or that they listen to the radio.
Yeah.
Which is, it always blows my mind with the technology we have in cars now that people still listen to the radio like that is, they just put it on as a background thing.
Yeah, I'm always wondering about that. I really don't listen to the radio unless there's a specific thing I'm looking for.
Unless your single came on?
Unless my single came on, then I'm like, I gotta listen to the radio.
Yeah, because your single came on the radio.
Yes, so shout out to KXT. Shout out to Jessica Waffles, the KXT local homegrown radio show every Thursday. And she put me on there. Very grateful for that. Super pumped about that.
Dude, you're kind of growing. You're on Spotify list. People are adding you to their Spotify list now.
Yeah. So there's this group. There's two separate bands in Dallas. One of them's called Primo Danger, and the other one's called Phantomello. And one of their members, shout out Shane Obar. I'm just shouting out all these people.
Dude, shout them out.
Shout out Shane Obar.
Shout out Shane.
Shout out Phantomello, and shout out Primo Danger. But they're starting this playlist in Dallas to try and get people promoted from Dallas. So they put me on their playlist. It's called Songs to Forget. And then I was also put on another playlist that I submitted.
A little disrespectful, but we'll take it.
Yeah. I know. I was like, wait, Songs to Forget? Why am I on this playlist?
Welcome to our new playlist. Artists that completely fucking suck.
Yeah. Artists that you should not listen to. Actually, that might get some clicks. That's actually like...
People don't like being told what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully that gets some traction, and we'll see where it goes. I'm kind of new to this part of promoting myself because I've never really applied to playlist on Spotify before, so this is all new for me.
Yeah,
trying to get my name out there in different ways, you know.
Yeah,
and this is one of the ways. This cool ass interview, dude.
Welcome to Open Invite,
thank
man.
you, dude.
It is an open invite, dude. You want to come back on? You have an album, something like that. It doesn't even have to be that. You could just come back to chill, catch up.
Yeah.
It's not as if we don't send each other memes and stuff on Instagram all the time. So
Exactly.
We're staying in touch.
I'm cool with it either way.
Dude, one thing that I wanted to ask you about because there was a moment where you hit me up one time and you're like, dude, do you have a cable? Because I'm about to go to a gig.
Oh, yeah.
And I need a cable for your amp, was it?
For my PA speaker.
Okay, yeah, so you needed that. And so they got me thinking about, I know when I'm going to shoot, or I'm packing up all my stuff. Sometimes I get there and I'm like, dang, I forgot my white balance card or something like that.
Yeah.
What's kind of that process like for you, like showing up to an actual gig? Is there like a checklist you have to go through or something? Because there's so much gear.
Yeah, there is a lot of gear. As far as, it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm drumming, I don't know, man. I've been filling up my cars with drums for so long. It's almost like I'm like breathing. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just like, put the drums in, go. You're probably honestly illuminating the fact that I should have like a checklist or something. But like, I don't know. I just throw stuff in the car and go lately.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because we're similar, and I know that we're similar in that way. We just kind of go with the wind.
Yeah.
We're not very...
Going with the flow.
We're not technical people.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I've got to imagine that you run into the same scenarios that I do.
Are you like... Well, actually, to me, since I've known you, you seem really analytical and like you know your gear really well. Like you're kind of a gearhead.
It just makes sense to me. That's
right?
what it is.
Okay.
A gearhead? Not really, dude.
Are you super into the gear? You look up all the prices and all the specs, constantly checking out?
I used to a lot, but now it's just like I have everything that I need and I've acquired it over time. And everything that I get, I try to learn really well. Mm-hmm. And then once I know something, I don't move on from it.
Okay, so we are the same in that respect. Because like whenever it comes to my gear, I find the things that I like, whether it's a pedal or an amp, learn it really well, and keep it for years. But I know plenty of gearheads that are like, I need the next thing. I need to buy this, and I need this, and I need this pedal, and I need this specific pedal, even though it's the same as this one. It's slightly different. That's why I need it.
Who's got the money for this?
I can't do that. Like,
heck no, bro.
I'm not about that. I'm more of like, all right, does it play? Plug it in. Let's go. Like, I want to make music. I'm not about the whole gear acquiring process.
No.
But gear does make a difference.
That's true.
It does make a difference.
Yeah. Like you have that one, but sometimes it make in a negative way, it'll make a difference in a positive way. No, it sounded very stupid to say, but there's that one song that was made by that really big band where every time that he would let go of the string, it would make a noise. Mm-hmm. And so they had to write the song around that specific defect in the guitar. Mm-hmm. Do you not know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure what song that would be.
Dang.
But I know that there's plenty of instances like that in music, you know, where... Mm-hmm. Do you know Lazy Eye by Silver Sun Pickups?
No, I don't.
It's like, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. You know that song?
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason that song was written that way is because like the dude had broke his hand. The guitarist broke his hand. And so he could only play this one little section of the guitar because he had like 2 fingers free out of the cast.
That's commitment.
And
all you need is 2 fingers.
He made their biggest song off of that hit,
bro, and
it's because his hand was broken. He could only play this one part of the neck.
Yeah,
but like it ended up being their biggest song. So like
that was his Through the Wire.
Yeah, Through the Wire.
Oh, yeah.
Like Kanye,
he didn't break his jaw, but he broke his hand, and he played it that way, dude.
Yeah, and now
that's amazing.
Like a song like Through the Wire is iconic, right, in hip hop because you know the story behind it. It's like, oh, Kanye's mouth was wired shut, and he rapped the whole thing. So I think those moments in music are really cool, you know?
We did it, chat. I found a way to bring Kanye into the conversation.
Yeah, dude. Anytime.
This episode of Open Invite was brought to you by North Texas Remodelings. Look, maybe your house looks like it got into a fight with a tornado and lost. Maybe your office walls are so bleak they've got you feeling a little sad. Well, guess what, chat? You don't have to live like that, okay? North Texas Remodeling. These are real men, real drywall enthusiasts. They specialize in painting, texture, sheetrock, and ceramic tiling. That's right, ceramic tile, not that cheap stuff you get from the corner at La Pulga, all right? Are you from the DFW? Good, because that's where they work. Give them a call, 214-758-9948 for a free estimate. That's right, free. Doesn't cost you a dime. You can give them a call just to hear another human voice if you want to. Maybe you're lonely. They don't judge, okay? North Texas Remodelings. They'll fix your floors, fix your walls, and maybe, just maybe, fix your life. Let's get back to the episode. There was a guy in one of your reels that was doing a reaction to Crutch, and he said something that I was like, is it being real? Is this a sketch? I don't know. He's like, hey, I see what you're going for.
Oh, yeah.
Was that real? Was that a real reaction?
No, so I made a little sketch that was like, your friend clearly doesn't like your new single.
Okay, so it was a sketch.
It was a sketch.
And I was like, dang, dude.
He's like listening to my single. He's like, oh yeah, and he like hands me back the headphones, and I'm like, bro, there's more. There's like 2 minutes more. Like he's like, oh, I didn't know there was more. Like,
dude, the song's only 2.5 minutes. He listened to 30 seconds. I see what you're going for.
Not even 30 seconds. He's like, oh, cool. But yeah, that was just a sketch.
I'm glad that was a sketch because I was like, dang, this guy's disrespectful, and you put him on your profile, dude.
That was just a sketch. I feel like if I don't want to take myself too seriously on these things because I am I don't know about you or if what your feed looks like on Instagram or wherever, but like when I'm scrolling and it's just a musician talking about themselves, and sometimes this works for them. It depends on who you are, right? But when you're just talking about yourself, promoting yourself, or I had such a hard life and that's why this song will connect with you, it almost feels disingenuous to me sometimes just because we're like constantly fed that sort of material
dude,
now.
It's like, that's everyone.
Yeah, so that's everyone, right? So, like, for me, I'm like, I'm just going to make fun of myself. Like, I'm a struggling musician. I don't have a lot of fans. You know, there's people out there that might not like my music, and that's the truth, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
So I'm going to relate that sort of perspective as
you
humorous.
make a big point about finding your audience.
Yeah. So, like, you know, the people that will like me or do appreciate it, they'll see these videos and be like, oh, he's like a real person. Like, he's making fun of himself. He doesn't really care. He's doing music because he loves it, and that's the point of my page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hopefully people relate to that.
I did see that one video where you were talking. It was a little bit more serious than your skits. It was scripted.
Oh, yeah.
And you were just kind of changing locations, and you were talking about kind of like your journey leading up to this point. And I did like that too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more of what you're talking about, that like a lot of artists do that.
Yeah.
But with you, it was like a little splash of that.
And I think I'll experiment with that more, like being genuine in the storytelling and whatnot, making videos that are like, hey, I'm a musician. I've never had a hit. I've been working on music for 20 years. I should have quit. Yeah. These sort of things, like,
I fought with my dad in Portland.
Yeah.
We need to hear more about that, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Me and my dad got in a fist fight in Portland Hotel. And
you ever gotten in a fist fight with your mom?
Not yet. Not yet. I don't think so. Nah, I don't.
Oh, Andrew's in the back here. Oh, he's laughing.
Dude, you know, hopefully not. Messing. But if she stepped to me,
she better come correct. Mama Strange, he's coming for
Mama
you.
Mama and Papa Strange, they want these fists, bro.
You seen how he rolls? Let's say that you weren't taking into account any audience out there. You were just like, let's say you already had the infinite money pool ready to go.
Let's go. I love these scenarios, bro.
The idea that I'm kind of getting to here is like, are you wanting to make music to express yourself, or are you wanting to make music that other people can relate to?
That's a good question. I feel like primarily it's to express myself, right? I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and I feel like once I make the song and I've gone through the process of creating it and making the song how I want, it expresses how I'm feeling at a certain point or a story I'm trying to tell, and I release it, the song is no longer mine. Almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like, okay, I recorded this thing, it happened, and I'm proud of it, and I obviously will listen to it, but it's kind of just out there for people to have their own interpretation of it at that point. Like, I already created the song.
It's a good way to rid yourself of any controversy. It's not mine anymore, guys.
Right. Hey.
It's yours now.
Y'all are the one that made this song. Yeah. No, it's almost like cooking, right? Like, cooking can be seen as an art, but once you cook it and you feed it to people, it's gone. Like, dang, that food's gone. You know?
You're the chef.
I don't know, but yeah, I'm cooking up. I'm chefing it up in the kitchen, you know? But, I mean, it's almost like once the song is released, I've already listened to it like a trillion times.
Yeah, by the time you release a song, you already hate it.
Yeah, I'm already kind of done with it. Like, I like the song Crutch. And when I first created it, I was obsessed with that song. I was like, this is the poppiest, catchiest thing I've ever made. And now that it's out, I don't listen to it. I'm like, I've listened to it trillions of times in the production process and everything, where I'm like, I don't even care about that song anymore.
Dang, dude, you're not helping your own stats.
I know, right? I mean, sometimes I'll flip it on.
Hey, don't worry, bro. I
leave
listen
it
to
on
your
repeat at night just to kind of like
boost the numbers.
Yeah, I'm like logging into 4 different emails during the day, like streaming my song over.
I listen to it when I drive on the freeway.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah,
it's a good freeway song.
I actually do think it's really good.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
And then I saw that you were. I don't agree with you on this, that you said that this was like a female version or the male version of Espresso.
Oh.
And I don't agree, because I went to go listen to Espresso, so you got lucky, Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah.
He put you on. I went to go listen to that song because
you wouldn't have known about Sabrina Carpenter if it wasn't for me.
I wouldn't have known, dude.
She's like on Fortnite now, bro. You can play as Sabrina Carpenter. Hey, your producer knows what I'm talking about. You can like kick someone's ass with Sabrina Carpenter.
But I found out about her because of you. So what does that say?
Well,
I'm
actually
then.
Glad we're here, because I'm going to reveal that I'm going to be on Fortnite. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I kind of see the similarities in the like the tone, but I just feel like even the lyrics and everything. Crutch, actually, for the fact that it's a single, it seems pretty personal, right? Because there's like and Espresso doesn't seem that way to me when I was listening to it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that I made this silly video that was like, I'm going to make the male version of Espresso, and I put Crutch in there, right? But,
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
You're just being hyperbolic then?
Yeah, I was being kind of hyperbolic, and I think that the fact that it's just like kind of a silly little pop single. I'm diving into the realm of pop, like what I think my version of pop would be, simply because I have a band, Low Sleep Shakers.
Yeah.
And that's my opportunity.
Shout out Low Sleep Shakers.
Shout out Low Sleep Shakers and all the homies.
And that's pronounced, or that's spelled LOS Sleep Shakers,
Yeah,
right?
like the Sleep Shakers, but in Spanish, Los Sleep Shakers.
Yeah.
And that's like Latin psych rock funk. And I have my opportunity to get rockin' and make weird progressive music with that band. And then I have other projects that I work with that I can make rock with. Orangutan Superlove is a group I drum for. And they're like experimental, chaotic rock.
Orangutan Superlove.
Yes. Shout out Nick. Shout out my boy Nick.
That's a name.
I know, it's a crazy
That's a choice.
name. I was going to wear their hat, but I didn't want to bring it on the podcast because it literally has like anime titties on it. And I couldn't bring it to the podcast.
Shout out anime titties.
I was gonna bring his hat, and I was like, "Wait, this might be. I may look like too much of a I don't know what
Of a groupie, a weeb.
Of a weeb. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna look like a weeb on his show. Like, check out my anime.
What is that? It says November made.
It says not made to fit in.
Not made to. Oh, that's
shout out to this company. That I think they're from Dallas,
dude. That's like your bio. What does your bio say? Professional outsider?
Yeah, so I thought that
Not made to fit in.
this hat kind of fit the brand perfect. I kind of want to work with this brand. They have a cool name, so I was like, that fits my brand perfectly.
Shout out Not Made to Fit In.
Not Made to Fit In, man. I just met them recently. I don't even really know them, but
Yeah.
I'm really fuck with their brand.
We have sponsors now for this podcast. Can musicians get sponsors? Like, how would that even work?
Man,
Let's say someone wanted to
wonder about
sponsor you.
that.
What could they do?
Man, I wonder about that. But, like, I don't even know how far we can go into this sort of discussion just because of copyrights or whatever branding, I guess. But this company, for this yerba mate right here.
It's kind of big.
Yeah, this one's huge. This is like a huge yerba mate company, right?
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get sponsored by them for like
It might be the only yerba mate
years,
company,
bro.
dude.
I know, right? I'm like, this might be the only one that we know.
Nobody knows
right?
about yerba mate.
It's so good, and like, okay, so basically, for people that know, it's like a tea or an herb from South America, right? But it has stronger caffeination than coffee.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give you as many jitters. I feel like it's a cleaner source of caffeine for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
People are getting into matcha right now, but the yerba mate is actually the move.
Yes. So I really like this company. I would love to get sponsored by them.
Yeah.
But how would a sponsorship work? I'm not sure. You see people out there that get like brand sponsorships from like Fender. So like all the Fender guitars for that artist are 50% off.
I mean, I see your jacket. You ain't got no patches on there. We can
No, man.
NASCAR you up, dude.
I know, right? I need.
Who's trying to get
I need to sell out. That's what I've been trying to do. Like, to be honest, I'm trying to get like a Walmart.
People put too much like negativity on that. Man, he sold out.
Yeah.
That whole thing. It's like, dude, you gotta. It's like, well, you want your favorite artist to be poor forever?
I literally heard this funny quote that I think you'd appreciate. I like to talk about this last night. Was that the fact that like, it's not, people don't care if you sell out anymore. They worry that no one ever asked you if you didn't sell out. And it's like, dang, that's where we're at right now.
Hold on, let me break that down. Say that again?
So if you don't sell out, people are they worry that no one ever asked you to sell out. It's no longer not cool to sell out, right? Because back in the day, it was like, oh, this person sold out. They're not cool. Nowadays, it's like, well, I guess no one ever asked you to sell out. You're not cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And people have this weird thing where it's like they don't really like something or they stop liking something if it doesn't ever catch on.
Yeah, what's up with that?
That sucks so bad, dude.
At the same time, we're in an age where like there's so many niches out there though. Like there's so many subsections of groups that like specific things, and you see big cult fan bases now because of that. You know what I mean? Like people like specific streamers or specific channels or pages.
There's a subreddit for everything.
Yeah. So
everyone has a Discord server.
So it's kind of both ways, right? Like I feel like there's less people that are willing to go out of the mainstream, but at the same time, there are more smaller groups that appreciate underground things.
And then you have the complete opposite where it's like people get mad that their artist kind of blew up. It's like, damn, man. I used to like them before they were big.
Yeah.
They want to gatekeep.
Have you felt that way before about like any music or any artist or anything like that?
Yeah.
I feel like I felt that way before too. And I'm like, because it almost feels like in a way you're like, that was my special artist that I knew of that no one appreciated but me. Or you feel that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I actually had a situation where the complete opposite happened, where there was an artist that I really liked and they didn't keep making music. So they did the opposite of like getting big. They stopped making music. Shout out Dustin Cavazos in Dallas, Texas. He's doing production now. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And so I loved his music and he just stopped making music. And I wish that he had sold out or like had gotten bigger or anything like that. And he had a pretty hardcore audience here in Dallas. At one point he was like somewhere between like 2 and 5 in terms of like the biggest hip hop acts in Dallas at some point. Is that right? Or do you remember at all?
I don't remember his ranking specifically, but you are right that he had a pretty strong fan base following him.
Yeah.
And he was up and coming. He opened for Kendrick Lamar.
Yes, that's right. Before Kendrick was huge, he opened for him here.
Yeah, it was right before, or basically right after he dropped Good Kid, Mad City.
Yes.
Wow.
And that was right when that rocket ship was about to take off.
Wow.
And so he was, again, shout out to him. I wish he would make more. I still listen to his album called B.Leave.me. So it's Believe Me. Mm-hmm. And so I still listen to that like maybe every week. I'm probably the only person still listening to that album. And so that can't be right. His mom's probably too, but.
That's funny. You like opened up for Kendrick Lamar. You're like, his mom probably still listens to his music.
It's because he doesn't do it anymore. Now he does like YouTube content and pods and he does production. Yeah. And so that's what's up. He found a different way. Yeah. Which is kind of what all artists have to do in some way, some form of fashion.
Yeah, I think so. And this is a long form game. I mean, this industry, music industry, is really difficult. Everyone's trying to do it. And there's so much competition. You have to stand out from the noise. So, I mean, I understand, like, him dropping out and whatnot. Like, this is something that people, I'm 33 now. People see me out in the street that saw me playing in Deep Ellum since I was, like, 16. And they're like, oh, you're still doing music? Crazy. And it's like, yeah, man.
You're somebody's Luca.
I can't stop. Yeah. But at the same time, it's pretty difficult to keep going.
Dude, over half your life.
Yeah.
You've been doing this over half your life.
Yeah. And wow, I just realized that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you need to know about yourself, let me know. I got you.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that.
One thing that I just thought about right now when we were talking about that, it's kind of an off-the-wall question. How would you feel if you had a like one-hit wonder? If you had your own version of Creep, it came out and everyone loved it so much, but that's all they wanted to hear from you.
See, but that's Radiohead. They're not a one-hit wonder, but I feel you.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel you though. That's okay. Yeah. I mean, if that were to happen, dude, that's a blessing in itself. And I try to take all these things as blessing and being gracious, like having gratitude for it, you know? Yeah. If I were to be a one-hit wonder, like let's say tomorrow Crutch is #1 and I never get close to that again, amazing.
Guys, anybody who's watching this episode, go to Spotify or Apple Music and play Crutch over and over again just on repeat. Turn the volume down if you have to. Yeah. You know, if you're at work, let it play. Let's get these numbers up. Let's see what we can do. A social experiment.
Yeah. You know? Bring it. Let's do it. Let's bring it to 1 million.
There we go.
But, you know, if that were to happen, that'd be amazing.
Let's make our own one-hit wonder right here. Homegrown, Dallas, Tito Strange, Crutch.
That'd be amazing, y'all. Come on. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Dude, that'd be,
do it.
You know, I mean, if that were to happen, that'd be substantial. I would constantly try to make something more. Yeah. You know what I mean? But...
At that point, you'd become a mad scientist. You'd just be throwing stuff even more at the wall to try to get a second hit wonder. You remember
that song? What's that song? Didn't have to cut you off.
Gautier.
That song. He's a one-hit wonder, right? But now this girl Doechii is like sampling the song. So
sampling?
I'm like, pretty much
singing over the song.
It is the song. It is the song with her rapping. I don't know why people can't understand this.
And it's nowhere near as good, in my opinion.
So like that's the thing, right? In today's day and age, if you make a one-hit wonder, I'm gonna get royalties for the rest of my life because someone's gonna sample it, someone's gonna use it or reference it, or it's gonna be on a TV show or something. So whatever.
Dude, I'm so tired. I'm tired of hearing this song. I don't even know what it's called, but it's something about anxiety. I feel like there's programming here where they're trying to make anxiety cool or something. And I'm just like, this... I hear it on like cooking videos or something. Like people are playing it all over the place, and I'm like, what's happening here? Is the algorithm pumping this song specifically?
I don't know, but like you've heard about this whole thing with like Drake and Kendrick, right? Like Drake is suing UMG, I think,
For pumping Not Like Us?
Because supposedly they blew up Not Like Us unorganically. In other words, they do what every production company or music company does with the song, and they pumped a bunch of money in it to make it popular.
Yeah.
Well, now Drake is suing Kendrick because he's like, that's defaming me, and you shouldn't have promoted this song the way you did, whatever.
Fair enough, man. Where is Drake now? Has somebody checked on him?
I don't know, dude. This is the most embarrassing year for any artist of all time. I feel like it's like so embarrassing.
Yeah, man.
Like,
this is.
And then it like all reached a peak when like Kendrick's doing his thing at the Super Bowl, and it's just like, oh my gosh, dude, this is just, you can never come back from this.
It's hard.
Your career is ruined.
I don't know if we're coming back from this one, y'all.
For real. I forgot how we got into that topic, but I think the main point is that like these music companies, they pump a lot of money into putting those songs in the rotation.
We're talking about that Doechii song.
Just putting it out
but
there.
But why'd you bring up Gautier? Because I think that song is actually pretty goated.
One-hit wonder. He's a one-hit wonder, but like the longevity of that song is going to last for a while. You're already seeing it come back with Anxiety. Like that wasn't that long ago that song came out, maybe 2016, 2017 or something. Now it's back in the rotation because this other popular artist is using it for their song. So, I mean, one-hit wonder nowadays, I think you have a longer lifespan.
I didn't know that it came back into rotation because it was in my rotation. Because I think that song is so good, dude.
It is a good song.
You didn't have to cut me off. It's like, dude, how much more?
It's a great song.
Dang.
Yeah, I think it's a simple song too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it so memorable. I think simplicity always going to resonate with people more. You know?
Your music has it has a lot of intricacies to it. Like there's a lot of like little flangers. There's a lot of little embellishments here and there. Do you foresee yourself kind of stripping back a little bit and making some more? Dude, you got to drop Home, man. You got to drop that song. I love it, dude.
Yeah, I now that you say that, I mean, I might go home and record it. I don't know.
Turn up. We did a chat.
Bust out my acoustic and do the thing. But simplicity. Do I want to become more simplistic? Is that what you're asking me, or do you?
Because like, if you take a look at a song like what is the name of the song by Gautier?
Somebody That I Used to Know.
Somebody That I Used to Know. So like that song, if you strip it down, it's got like the little bells. It's got probably like 4 instruments throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So like, and it became a hit.
Yeah.
And so if you take a look at the songs that do become hits, they are oddly very stripped down and simplistic.
Yeah.
You don't have these. We don't have any more Bohemian Rhapsodies anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
And so that would be the move if you wanted to get like a pop hit or something like that. You'd have to kind of do that. Do you foresee yourself going that route, or do you?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of experimenting right now with that because I could play something more technical, but I want to do the most with the least right now, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to make the most catchy song I can with the least amount of chords. I'm trying to make something that sticks in your brain that isn't really that complicated to play.
Yeah.
And then in pop music, like you said, the reason these things stick in our head is because they're memorable and they're simple. Like, whatever song you think is your favorite pop song right now, the reason it's memorable is because it's a catchy melody and it's got something simple enough that you can sing along to. No one's singing crazy. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody is a great example. It's like no one's really doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Post Malone's not out there releasing like an 8-minute rock opera, you know what I mean, that's on the radio.
Dude, my favorite pop song right now is Baby Please Don't Go by Mike Posner.
Okay. Okay, I don't know that song.
Baby Please Don't Go.
I don't know it.
What?
I don't know it. I haven't
Fair
heard
enough. Shout out Mike Posner. No one shouts him out anymore.
See how simple that was? You just sang it real quick. You already remembered it. It's right there. Simple little line. You know what I mean? Simple lyrics.
He's an artist that wrote for everyone. But he.
Yeah.
What was that? Do you remember his first main hit? The song about love songs. Pull that up, Jamie.
No, I mean, I think I've heard of him before. And he's a pretty accomplished producer, I would imagine, right? He's
a songwriter. Is really what he does, and he writes lots of songs for everybody. Justin Bieber,
okay, cool.
Yeah, Pharrell, he's But he himself somehow got blackballed from the industry, and so he had to become a background player. What was it?
You're talking about the song "Cooler Than Me"?
Yeah, you think you're cooler than me.
Oh yeah, I do remember
That's him.
that song.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's him. He only has like 2 big hits.
Okay.
Or there was another one in something in Ibiza. But
See, this happens to a lot of people. There's plenty of great songwriters out there that like it takes them a while to become the artist that's on stage gaining people's attention. But they've been great songwriters for years and years. You know what I mean? So
and then you have people or artists who are the front run or like they are the face, kind of like Rihanna and stuff like that. It's like as much as people want to talk smack about her and the fact that she doesn't write her own songs and everything, I've heard about whenever you bring her into the studio, she makes all the songs hers.
yeah.
Like she really can figure out how to turn whatever reference track she got and stylize it in such a way that is, and I heard she smells good.
I bet you she does smell good.
That's what I've heard, dude. It's a rumor going around.
$1,000 perfume. No, but I mean like
$1,000.
maybe probably more. Probably
Dude.
way more. I forgot what you said, but I feel like
Now you're just thinking about her smell?
Some people, yeah, I'm just thinking about the way Rihanna smells now. I don't know why I was thinking like cookies for some reason, but like some warm, fresh baked
What kind of cookies you think she smells like?
Like straight up classic chocolate chip. You know what I'm saying? I don't know
Little
why.
racist,
Like
but-
nostalgic, but like warm and comforting.
Dude, I don't know. I was thinking like the Samoa cookies, bro.
Okay, a little
Yeah.
bit more interesting. I feel you probably.
Hold
Yeah.
up. I heard that there is like poison inside of like the Girl Scout cookies.
I heard that too, but you know what's going to happen is they're going to ban all that stuff because they just banned food dyes, right? So we'll see what happens
Oh,
next.
wow.
Yeah,
Dang.
that's your boy RFK.
Shout out RFK, man. Red
So-
40 is gone, dude.
So like now people are going to get like normal, I don't know what the normal color of a Cheeto is, but people are going to see that and be like, what the heck? What the heck happened to my Cheetos?
What if Cheetos were actually orange with black spots on them? Yeah. Like a cheetah?
Yeah,
All the mold pops up?
we'll see. You know what I mean?
Whatever industry you are in, I think eventually you have to find your way out.
Why do you say that?
I don't know, dude. I take a look at like UFC fighters and stuff, and I really love it when like a UFC fighter becomes like a commentator or they make their own like charity or something, and then they kind of like leave the sport. Or let's say you have recording artists who become writers or they start their own podcast or a stream. I think eventually you have to make room for the next generation to come in because you just can't keep, you know?
Yeah.
And then the one exception would be Kanye. Let's leave him in there. I want to have a 80-year-old Kanye making music, dude.
So unhinged. He's like anti-robot at or whatever is going on at that point. He's like, we gotta kill all the robots. I don't know.
But do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Eventually, you have to find your way out of the art
Yeah.
because it was you came in, you made a message for the world, and then, but like, it's pretty egotistical to kind of stay in that your whole life.
I see what you're saying. I get that. I think some people are married to it though. You know, like some people never leave it. Like, you know, I mean, Rolling Stones, how long have they been playing? They're still on stage. You know what I mean? So some people like.
Do you think they want to be on stage?
I don't know. I wonder that too. But like I've seen Rolling Stones play and it looks like they're having genuine fun and they love their audience and they're still doing what they love at this little band they made when they were teenagers. And that's a great. Most people don't have that. You know what I mean?
Dude, shout out to the person who made their logo. That thing is iconic.
Iconic. So like I mean like these things, it depends on what your appetite is. Some people can keep that fire going for a lot longer than others. Some people like my friend Ryan, who's a phenomenal sax player, he told me one time, he was like,
Shout out to all the sax players out there.
he's like, I don't want to do this forever, dude. I'm already tired of gigging. And it's like, dude, we're like in our 30s. He's tired of gigging. Imagine how Mick Jagger feels. Like,
Yeah.
But maybe he has that fire and he can keep it fueled for a lot longer than other people can. So it just depends on what you want to do, I guess. But I get what you're saying, like getting out of the industry to kind of like take a step back, let other people take the reins, maybe take on more of a leadership role in a different way.
Or maybe
That can be
become,
helpful, too.
You could also turn it into a career. Like I have a buddy who her whole job is to get musicians onto cruise ships and to like sort of like book gigs for musicians and put these musicians together. Shout out Jess Goodrich and or at Jessie Goody on Instagram. So now you have these people who are like kind of touring the world together and it's their job. They don't have much like no one's like looking out for their album or no, they're not dropping a single or anything, but that is their job is to be playing around the world. And that's a beautiful thing, I think, because they turned what they love to do or what they're actually good at or passionate at, they turned that into a job.
Yeah.
How would you feel if you kind of became a career musician as opposed to a artist that's out in the mainstream?
I mean, that would be a blessing too. I think my main goal is to take what I do with music and be able to live comfortably with that, obviously, hopefully pay all my bills with music and travel with it. And that doesn't require me selling out AAC or anything like that. It doesn't require me selling out stadiums. So like I can be a career musician playing little jazz cantinas on the whole coast of Mexico for a decade, and no one will ever hear my name, and I'm not going to be playing Jimmy Kimmel Live, but I will be living my life and paying my bills and having a successful career. I know plenty of people that do that, you know what I mean?
And that's enough for you?
And I think that would be enough. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to impress anyone. I like to express myself. If I can express myself with music and get paid to live off of that, that's a blessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, most people never get to do what they love, much less get paid for it. So that would be good for me. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's
if
beautiful.
I could become Rihanna, though, I'll sell my soul right now. I don't give a fuck.
Dang, dude. The devil's coming for you. Oh, dang, he did it. He did it, Chad. He sold his soul.
No, dude, it'd be so funny if I got contacted after that. Like, hey, we
Mr.
saw
Strange.
you on the...
Dude, let me tell you about this
Invite
dream.
only.
Let me tell you about this dream that I had back in 2008 when I was making music more seriously, or when I was starting to get into making music more seriously. I had this dream where I was in a castle and I walked all the way up the circular steps, that castles have, and I got to the very top where it was just like a bunch of circular windows or like those arched windows.
Okay.
So I was looking out and then there was a guy in there with a white suit. And I was like,
snap.
I was like, oh, what's this? What's happening here? And he came up to me and he was like, you make music, right? And I was like, yeah, of course. He's like, you don't really want to make it though. And I was like, yeah, I do. He's like, no, you don't. And I was like, yeah, I do. Like, why would you know? You don't know me. He's like, you don't want to make it. And then I said, okay, I do. I don't know how many ways I can say this to you, but I do. And then he's like, well, then sign here. And he had a freaking contract.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, sign here. And then he put the paper up to me, and it looked weird. It was all this weird writing. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And he's like, see, you don't want to make it. And I said, yes, I do. And he's like, all right, well, then sign here. And then I took a pause. And then he turns into this big devil guy, and he goes, sign here. And I was like, whoa. I was like, dude, all right. And then so I signed.
Oh,
and
snap.
as soon as I signed, have you seen that movie Time with Justin Timberlake?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Where they have like the numbers?
Yeah.
As soon as I signed, a number appeared above my head, like, and I had like a bank account.
Oh, snap.
And so I was like, oh, dude, like, heck yeah. And so I didn't have a car at the time, and I really wanted a car. And so I was like, dude, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go pick up my friend, or I'm going to call my friend to pick me up that has a car. And we went to the dealership. And I was about to buy a car. And then so I took out this card that was like kind of the same color as the letters. It was like greenish. And I had a card that was greenish. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I went to swipe for the card, I freaking woke up and I was like,
oh no.
And then I texted my boy, do you remember when I texted you about this? Yeah. And I was like, bro, I think we need to chill out. I was like, I just had like a sign from God, like, don't go down this path.
He's over in there deleting Fruity Loops off his computer. He's like, bro, we got to stop now, dude.
Yeah,
These beats are too fire. Well, it's a shame you didn't, bro.
Yeah. Or is it not? Because then we wouldn't have met.
Ah, true.
You know? And then the audience wouldn't have pumped up Crutch to number 1. Let's go.
Come on, guys. Let's do it. No, but I appreciate your music, dude. I dig the album that you showed me.
I appreciate you.
I
Shout
would
out
be
Caleb
down to hear some more
Birdsong.
stuff. 2 on the River, or is that what it's called?
Dude, he listened to 2 on the River.
That's a good song.
Yeah,
but,
it's just
do your thing, dude. You should do some more music if you want to. If you don't want to,
I don't know
cool.
if I do. I think this is what I want to do, man. I really love connecting with people, and I feel like this is kind of where God's put me. I know you said you're not religious, but I think this is where God put me to like kind of bring people on and kind of hear their stories and kind of show the world that like we don't need to, like we can focus in on our like people around us. We can dial in and I like this, man. I just like conversing with people and hearing their stories.
Well, I think you got a knack for it, man. So I'm happy for you to do this. We'll see where it goes. You know what I mean? And I think you have a natural ability for chatting it up with people, chopping it up. So I know that you've got the production skills down for sure. This is a great setup. So we'll
Thank
see
you,
where
brother.
it happens, bro. This is definitely a blessing. So,
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
And thank you guys so much again for watching this episode and for tuning in every week from here on out. We really appreciate all those likes and also the subscribes. And so this has been an episode of Open Invite, sponsored by North Texas Remodelings. Make sure to give a call to the number on the screen and get a quote. If you have a business out there that needs remodeling or you have some sort of job, they got you covered. They're great people. They have a solid business with a solid track record. And yeah, we appreciate you. Make sure to like and subscribe.